1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti on the horn.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. Doing great.
Grab this topic from the headline, ripped from the headlines. Just asking the question on what police officers, what is their responsibility when it comes to medical distress when they're in the midst of dealing with maybe a potential criminal? What is their responsibility as an officer, Paul?
Well, there's just a reasonable test out there. I mean, police officers, they see someone, in distress. They see someone who needs medical attention. The first thing they'll do is call for medical attention, right? I mean, that just happens 99.9+% of the time. In Schenectady, it was certainly an awful situation where they had someone in custody. He was unable to breathe, and they didn't call for medical attention, and he died. Clearly, they just didn't, either recognize the severity of didn't believe what he was saying. I don't think anyone sitting around saying they knew that he couldn't breathe and failed to, right? So, but to your point here, what's circulating down here in Albany, an assembly bill, which is in what they call committee for comment, so it may or may not see the light of day, but it's attempting to make a Class A misdemeanor if the officer fails to make what they call a good faith effort to obtain medical care once someone is in custody.
I guess I don't understand. Why wouldn't they be doing that anyways,
Yeah, and so, again, I think they do. In fact, I know they do, right? There's this last thing. And so now this statute is going to, create a criminal. It's a Class A misdemeanor, not a felony, but so what? Police officers, don't have crimes against them. They don't commit crimes. And so we've got this Class A misdemeanor charge hanging out there. If you didn't take, and again, it's a low standard, good faith effort to obtain medical care, but, now someone dies in your custody, someone is unable, and now you're going to sit there as a police officer and wonder if someone's going to judge you, a jury or a grand jury.
They're not doctors. I mean, I get that they.
Okay, all right, but what about a correction officer, Paul, who's dealing with an inmate, and you're like, you're not sick, you're lying to me. I'm not sending you to the nurse. I mean, that does happen.
Yeah,
sure it does. And the correction officers, peace officers, anybody in law enforcement, it would be subjected to this. And again, you like to think that there's going to be sort of, once the dust settles and once the facts come to light, that they'd look at something like you were describing, where the inmate had done this before, and he's cried wolf. And
what about the paddy wagon in Baltimore when the guy was handcuffed and
the Rough Ride?
Yeah, the Rough Rider deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect example. They didn't pay any attention to
That's
him.
a little bit different though, because you're causing that distress. This is not acting upon the distress.
That's true.
All right,
that's an excellent legal point. Yes.
So you said it's in committee. So what does this mean? They're just talking about it? It would take leaps and bounds for something to actually come out of this?
Yeah, so lots of bills get drafted, and it goes to committee, and they've got 4 assembly folks who have signed on, meaning they believe and support this bill. So, it would have to get through committee and then be put to a vote and then go to the Senate. That it's before it was even approved, and then becomes a law signed by the governor, right? That's sort of the 101 version of how it happens. But the fact that it's percolating has really alerted, all the law enforcement agencies to. There better
be 1,000 addendums and in case of though, Paul. What if there's a situation where someone's hurt, but there's the situation that made them hurt is still going on in the area. I mean,
the good faith. I mean, I get.
Okay, yeah,
but I'm with you, because we like to think that 99.9% of all police officers kick ass and are awesome. So why would they want one more hurdle on a job that's already tough enough?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
it does seem awfully nitpicky, but I
know. Really.
All right. Well, you cleared it up a little bit for us, Paul. We appreciate that.
Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, guys. You're welcome.
I'll talk to you next week.
1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW1010.com. Paul Harding, Martin Harding Mazzotti. Martin